why would a business not want to grow? Why would they not want to increase, profitability and sales and all the rest? I mean, the incentive certainly is I've got one restaurant, I'd like to have two. I don't open a second restaurant because I don't know if I'm going to have enough people coming in to me, for me to deal with that. And I don't want to put that cost out there and lose it. So I think what businesses are saying is, I need greater certainty. I need to have greater confidence in terms of that top $1 coming in, and then I'm going to be willing to go take risks. That's what I do well, right? I as a business person know how to take a risk and where I want to do that and all the rest. But businesses want to be able to take the risks that they know that they can control.
The level of uncertainty regarding changes in policy is just not bad. And so to answer your question, one of the problems is that for a lot of businesses, they just don't know what the rules of the game are. And as a result, it makes it difficult for them to make any long-term planning, whether it's hiring people or investment. Now, we do see business investment really strong, which is actually something surprising, given, certainly, but especially if you're small, medium-sized businesses, it's been a very challenging environment. So, for general, what you're hearing when we talk to businesses, it's just not a good time to take on more debt. It's not a good time to increase costs by hiring people because of getting tax and spending uncertainty. They didn't know, businesses didn't know what the tax rates were going to be until 2 months before the year began, 2 weeks before the year began. And then again, we know that more tax and spending changes are going to come, and they just don't know what they're going to be.
I've wondered, as what we've seen as part of this deleveraging, certainly at a business level and an individual level, where you've had any aspect of income, we've seen debt reduction. And we're starting to see now total kind of debt leverage levels for households, getting to some extent back in line with kind of what we were before we kind of saw the bubble. Do we think that households may, in some near period of time, the next 6, 12, 18 months, start to say, okay, look, I've done as much as I need to in terms of the credit card and so on and so forth, and that's going to turn, or what I suspect may be more the case, and what we're actually seeing is that debt reduction has been more related to, involuntary restructuring related to the mortgage, HELOCs and so forth, and that there probably is still aspects of consumer credit and so forth yet to be done. So,
unfortunately, we're like number 1 or number 2 in many of the educational attainment, the innovation. But in terms of business formation, we're number 42. So we've got a long way to go, but I think that's one of the things that the sea change has to be, that's something in Maryland can control, to basically get to the point where basically we take those complex building blocks that we have and reassemble them into new businesses. And unfortunately, we've not been successful. We've been successful in acquiring all the complex building blocks, but we've been very unsuccessful at taking those complex building blocks and in harnessing new industries at the level one would expect from the amount of money that pours into the state. You look at MIT, how much business formation come out of that. You look at Silicon Valley, you look at UC San Diego's Golden Triangle, how much new business have spun out of those university centers as compared to how much business has spun out of Maryland's universities.
It cuts both ways.
Yeah.
You have a lot of smart people in the state who are providing high-tech services in one of these, either like the Defense Department or NASA or NSA. And so they're kind of tied to the federal government to a certain extent. And so they're less entrepreneurial in nature. And then a lot of the high-tech stuff that we have here kind of feeds into this produced for this one purchaser, which is the federal government, and that there's not really a private market for a lot of things which are being produced by our companies and our universities. They're just designed for defense, so there's not an outside application for many of the things. And so the UAVs, you make it, there is a market for, there's a private market for UAVs, but somewhat small, it's new, but for building rockets, things like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the other thing too is that we're not going to see those types of jobs grow that would be able to allow individuals who lost their jobs in this recession to be able to take on those without the right skills. And the other challenge that people I want to mention is that oftentimes our employers look at those 99-weekers as, well, what's wrong with you? I don't want to hire you, I'll hire the person who's been unemployed for 2 weeks or still has a job. So we're seeing people who are still getting jobs, except the people who really need those jobs, the long-term unemployment, aren't able to get jobs because now they have the stigma of they've been out of work for 2 years and going on 3 years. And that's a tough stigma for people to overcome and to accept that, you know, it wasn't their fault they lost a job, it wasn't their fault that the industry collapsed. But